You don't expect your heartbreak to go viral. But there it was, 67,000 strangers laughing at me, and I hadn't even finished my lunch. It started like any other Wednesday. A little boring, a little slow. I was scrolling TikTok on my break, half watching people dance, bake, sell skincare serums. Then suddenly, there she was, Mia? My girlfriend. Her familiar smirk, that signature ring light glow, the background unmistakably our apartment. She was lip-syncing to some trending audio I didn't recognize. My eyes scanned the caption without thinking, and that's when everything stopped. Dating down builds character nail polish hashtag trust that process. I laughed, actually laughed, because my brain couldn't process what I was seeing, until I saw myself. In the background, sitting at my desk with headphones on, working on a track like I always did. I watched it again, slower this time. Mia danced in front of the camera, smug and confident, while I just existed. Oblivious, like a background prop in her performance. Then I saw the comments. Girl, you're so real for this, Skull. The way he has no clue, loudly crying face. Charity work. We love a generous queen. And worse, Mia's replies. Casual, cold. Gotta start somewhere, woman shrugging. He's sweet, but this isn't the final stop. The apartment is mine anyway. I didn't eat that day. I didn't cry. I didn't even get angry. I just sat there, staring at the screen, wondering when exactly I'd become a punchline. 3 summers ago, when I met Mia at that music festival, none of this seemed possible. She was vibrant, electric. We connected fast, over music, over food, over this weird mutual understanding that we both wanted more out of life than what we currently had. She took photos for some lifestyle blog. I was freelancing sound work for a small stage. She liked the way I listened. I liked the way she looked at the world, like it was always one good idea away from changing completely. Within 6 months, we'd moved in together. Her apartment, technically, a rent-controlled little gem in a good neighborhood. I paid half. I did the dishes. I bought groceries and carried her lighting equipment up 3 flights of stairs. She called me her sound guy, and at the time, I thought it was endearing. But I wasn't her sound guy. I was her content. Looking back, the signs were there. The way she gently redirected conversations at parties when someone asked what I did. Her suggestions about upgrading my image. The little digs, always dressed up as concern. Have you thought about a commercial studio? You're too talented to be underground forever. But I believed in us. God help me, I did. That afternoon, after the video, I went back to the studio and mixed a breakup ballad like it was the last thing I'd ever do. Every beat was a punch to the gut, every vocal edit a silent scream. I lost myself in it, because if I stopped, I'd have to feel something. And I wasn't ready. When I got home, Mia was filming in the living room. That damn ring light made her skin glow like some kind of angel. She paused the recording when she saw me, smiled like everything was fine. Hey babe, she said, adjusting her hair. Long day. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I realized I didn't know this person at all. I didn't speak, just walked past her, straight to the bedroom, and started packing. She followed me in, confused at first, then defensive. Are you seriously doing this right now? I didn't answer. I folded a shirt, rolled a pair of socks. Mia, I finally said, my voice flat. Do you even remember what it feels like to be kind without an audience? She blinked, like the question didn't compute. That night, I left. No yelling, no big scene, just a backpack, my laptop, and a piece of myself I'd never get back. 2 weeks later, her best friend sent me a screenshot. Mia had deleted every post. She was asking if anyone knew how to reach me. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Some things don't deserve closure. But the internet never forgets. And as I lay awake that night in a friend's spare room, staring at the ceiling, I knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. She said it was just content. As if reducing someone to a punchline became less cruel once you added a ring light and a trending hashtag. I didn't say anything. I didn't scream or throw things or beg her to explain how a TikTok joke turned into a public humiliation. I just opened my phone, showed her the video, and waited. Her face shifted like a storm rolling in. First confusion, then recognition, and finally a half-hearted flicker of shame. It didn't linger. That's just a persona, she said, laughing too quickly. It's not serious, babe. My followers eat that stuff up. It wasn't an apology. It was branding. And I realized I didn't hate her. Not yet. But I didn't trust her anymore. And that was worse. I packed quietly, methodically. Only the essentials. Clothes, laptop, documents. Nothing we'd bought together. Nothing sentimental. I left the framed photo from our first trip to Montreal on the dresser. She could keep the memories. I just wanted my dignity. When I walked out with my suitcase, she finally looked up from her phone. Going somewhere? Yes. That was the first time she actually looked nervous. What's going on? I didn't answer. Just showed her the screen. She laughed again, but it sounded more like a defense mechanism than humor. Come on. It's not like I meant it. It's just content. The comments from your friends, were those content too? Now she looked defensive. You're overreacting. Everyone exaggerates for social. It's not real life. It's real enough that you filmed me without my knowledge. Mocked me in front of tens of thousands of people. Let your friends dissect me like I was some failed audition. You're being dramatic, she snapped, standing now. It's a stupid video. You're seriously throwing away our relationship over this? Our relationship ended the moment I became your content. I reached for the door. She started to panic then, her voice rising, losing its polish. Wait, where are you even going? We need to talk about this. This is your apartment, I said, looking at her one last time. Just like you pointed out in the comments. I'm sure you'll be fine without my portion of the rent. I paused at the door, that final moment where something in you still wants to be heard, still wants the other person to suddenly understand. I hope the engagement was worth it. She called after me, first angry, then scared, then pleading. I didn't answer, just walked out, suitcase rolling behind me like punctuation. That night, I stayed at my friend Lena's place. I hadn't even explained the full story, just said I needed space, and she said yes without hesitation. I crashed on her pull-out couch, stared at the ceiling in the dark, and felt every ounce of humiliation settle into my skin. My phone blew up. First, a string of messages from Mia, ranging from, "It was just a joke," to "You're proving my point," to "Please come home. I'll delete it right now." I replied once. I deserve better than to be someone's stepping stone or social media punchline. Please don't contact me again. Then I blocked her number. The next morning, I went to the studio. I didn't plan to tell anyone, but Hector, blunt, observant Hector, took one look at me and said, "You want a distraction?" He handed me a project that would have made lesser engineers cry. A brilliant vocalist with no rhythm. Her pitch was flawless, but her timing was a disaster. It was like trying to stitch a designer gown with thread made of smoke. But it was exactly what I needed. That evening, I got a message from Jasmine, Mia's old roommate. "We'd always bonded over music," Mia said, gave her a headache. "Just checking you're okay." What Mia did was messed up. A bunch of us called her out privately. I thanked her, kept it brief. I wasn't interested in vengeance. Just silence. 3 days later, life threw me a curveball. The breakup song, the one I'd engineered while my own heart was falling apart, got posted online. A snippet, just under a minute, but enough. The artist tagged me. It wasn't viral, not in the internet-breaking way Mia chased. But it mattered. The right people noticed. Other artists. Local producers. People who cared about the craft, not just the clicks. By the weekend, my professional account had nearly doubled in followers. Not bots. Not fans. Peers. The following Monday, Hector called me into his office. He had that same unreadable expression he wore when a client asked for 20 revisions without paying for one. "Close the door," he said. For a second, I wondered if I'd somehow messed up a file. But then he smiled, just a twitch at the corner of his mouth. "You might want to sit down." And just like that, the story took a turn I didn't expect. I never expected Karma to wear a studio badge and hand me a 6-month contract in Seattle. But there I was, sitting across from Hector, as he leaned back in his squeaky chair like he wasn't dropping the biggest news of my career. "Stonebridge Records," he said casually. "They want to offer you a contract gig. 6 months. You'd be working with a few of their new artists. Pretty promising roster." I blinked at him, unsure if I was dreaming or having a stroke. "Stonebridge, like the Stonebridge." He nodded. "The one with the gold record wall and a producer who refuses to use auto-tune unless it's ironic." I sat back, stunned. A week ago, I was background noise in a viral TikTok. Now, I was being courted by one of the most respected indie labels on the West Coast. "They'll need an answer by the end of the week," Hector added. "They already emailed the details." He didn't say it, but I could see it in his face. He didn't want to lose me, but he also wasn't about to stand in the way. I was grateful for that, for his quiet loyalty, for handing me something to focus on when my world had cracked open. The next few days were a whirlwind of reading contracts, calling industry friends, and double-checking every term like it was a marriage proposal. But it was solid, legitimate, life-changing. By Friday, I'd signed. And just like that, I was moving to Seattle. That weekend, I arranged to pick up the rest of my things from Mia's apartment. She was out at a content creator meetup, of course, and I didn't want to see her. A mutual friend, Dan, supervised while I packed. I moved fast, efficient. No drama, just extraction. Dan looked uneasy as I boxed up the last of my gear. You should know. Mia's not doing great. I paused. What do you mean? She deleted the video. And a bunch of others with similar stuff. Her engagement's down. Some brands paused deals. Apparently, a few bigger creators stitched it, called her out. Said it was cruel. I didn't smile. Didn't feel vindicated. Just tired. I'm not celebrating her downfall, I said quietly. I just couldn't stay with someone who saw me that way. Dan nodded. I think she regrets it. Not just the backlash. What she did. Maybe too late, though? Maybe. But regret isn't a bandage. It doesn't rewind a single frame. 2 weeks after I'd left, as I was confirming my Seattle rental and prepping for the move, I got a message from Jasmine. Thought you should know. Mia's asking around for a way to contact you. Apparently found out about the Stonebridge deal. She's telling people she always believed in your potential. Attached was a screenshot of Mia's private Instagram story. Does anyone have a current way to contact Ree? It's important. I thanked Jasmine and ignored it. That last sentence stuck with me. She always believed in your potential. The same potential she'd publicly laughed at. 3 days before my move, she found me. An email landed in my professional inbox, one I'd set up for collaborators and clients. She must have found it on the studio's website. Subject, please read. Ray, I need to talk to you. Please. I know I messed up badly, but you have to let me explain. I never meant to hurt you. It was stupid content for engagement, not how I really felt. I'm so proud of your new opportunity. I always knew you were talented. Please give me a chance to make things right. I miss you. I love you. Mia. I sat with it for a whole day. I read it once, then again, and then I just stared at it. Not out of confusion, not even pain, just clarity. She missed me, but only after I became someone worth missing. I replied the next morning. Mia, I wish you well in your career and life. What happened between us wasn't a misunderstanding or a joke taken the wrong way. It was a fundamental lack of respect. This new job doesn't validate me, just as your TikTok didn't define me. I'm the same person I was before, and I'll keep being that person. Ray, I didn't block her this time. I just pressed send. Let the silence speak for itself. The difference wasn't just the new city or the upgraded job title. It was that I finally understood my own worth and refused to let anyone shrink it again. I moved to Seattle a week after sending that last email. No fanfare, just a one-way ticket, a few suitcases, and a laptop full of half-finished mixes and open wounds. Stonebridge was everything I'd hoped it would be. Demanding, electric, real. The kind of place where people didn't ask for your follower count. They asked what you heard in the bridge. I found a tiny apartment with creaky floors and the kind of windows that let in moody Pacific light. It wasn't glamorous, but it felt like mine. Slowly, life recalibrated. I made friends. People who didn't know my history or the shape of my heartbreak. I started dating again, but more carefully this time. I listened more, protected myself better. Set boundaries I should have had years ago. 6 months in, Stonebridge offered to make the contract permanent. I said yes without hesitation. And for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel like I was playing catch-up in my own life. I felt steady. Occasionally, updates about Mia reached me through the grapevine. She pivoted her content, less glam, more authentic, talking about boundaries and healing and toxic internet culture. She never named me, never mentioned the video, but those who knew, they knew. Ironically, she gained more followers than ever. And maybe that was fine. Maybe some people really do change once the mirror cracks. But I wasn't waiting around to fact-check her growth. Recently, a track I engineered started getting regular radio play across the Pacific Northwest. Nothing global, nothing flashy, but it felt good. Earned. During a brief interview with a local blog, the writer asked me if there was a single moment that defined my career shift. There was a point where I had to choose between external validation and internal integrity. I said, choosing integrity created space for everything else to fall into place. I didn't mention the TikTok, or Mia, or dating down. Those details didn't belong to the story anymore. Sometimes, the strongest response to public humiliation isn't a clapback or a carefully edited receipts video. Sometimes, it's silence, growth, distance, letting your peace speak louder than your pain ever could. I didn't need to destroy Mia to heal myself. Walking away with my dignity was enough. Eventually, she did send a real apology. A private message. No caveats. No hashtags. Just honest regret. I didn't respond, but I read it. Sat with it. Let the last of the bitterness drain out of me. We're not in contact. And I'm okay with that. Because this was never a story about revenge or proving someone wrong. And it wasn't about career success validating my worth. I would have made the same choice even if Stonebridge never called. The true victory was this: realizing I didn't need someone else's approval, online or off, to justify existing, to feel enough, to be proud of the life I was building. That viral moment, it didn't break me. It rerouted me. And for that, oddly enough, I'm grateful.